There are two distinct calls that God makes on the life of an individual. One is for salvation, the other is for service. Jesus says in Matthew 11, verse 28, "Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." That is a call to salvation. And when we are saved by grace, God gives us rest in the family of God. We are going to heaven. And yet, there is a second call, just as distinct as the first one, for service. Jesus says right after that, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls." That is a call for service. We don't take the yoke upon us unless we plan to go to work. That implies that we are going to be obedient followers of the Lord Jesus Christ, that we are going to honor his holiness. And yet there are many, many believers who have never responded to that second call. Heard it, had a chance to respond to it, but have neglected to. Just as Israel did in the wilderness for 38 years after they had an opportunity to go into the promised land. They rejected that opportunity. They didn't believe God would provide the victory for them going into Canaan. That's possible. The Bible tells us that believers can depart from the living God. That doesn't mean we're going to lose our salvation. That means we're not walking with the Lord. And if we're not walking with the Lord, there will not be rest unto our souls. We will instead be restless people. And some of the worst Christians around are restless Christians who've never committed their life to the Lord Jesus Christ. Saved, yes, but serving him, no. Peter one time told the Lord that he would follow him wherever he would go. He would die for him. And yet Jesus knew his heart. And there would be a time when Peter would deny him. And Jesus told him, "I've prayed for you, Peter." And he did that because Peter belonged to him already. But he knew what would happen in Peter's life. And he said, "I've prayed for you, Peter. And when thou art converted, strengthen the brethren." That word converted means when you're turned around or you're twisted around. It's a twisted thinking type situation, only in a positive way, in service for the Lord. Peter would come to the place where he realized that in his denial of the Lord, he failed him, and it crushed him. And as a result, from that point on, he was as strong a saint as any believer could be. That's what the Lord wants from us in our walk. He wants to use us, and only if we can obey what he tells us to do, and that is in relationship to things and also to our spiritual lives. So the two distinct calls are there, one for salvation and one for service.